Hi everybody, welcome to the talk Debian Academy, another way to share knowledge about Debian. My name is Jonathan Bustillos and I'm very happy to be here with you today at DebConf 20 online. Okay, so some information about me. I have been using Debian since 2008 and I have helped in some teams and activities like the localization team as a Spanish translator, as volunteer in the video team, and I consider myself a Debian reproducible builds enthusiast. Also, I have participated in Debian Days, installation parties, and DebConfs. Okay, so I would like to start saying that nowadays there are powerful and practical e-learning platforms to get knowledge about complex topics. And as you know, Debian is complex and huge. We have very important documents like the Debian Developers Reference, Debian Policy Manual. We have themes like reproducible builds, Salsa, and of course many more, and our website to start with anything. So in this way we have a lot of diversity about packaging, reproducible builds, infrastructure, security, the Debian installer, documentation, web, publicity, translations, artwork, and much more activities. So, okay, let's see a user story. This is the introduction of Valeria. Valeria is a communication student and a desktop Debian user since some months. She went to a Debian Day in her city, and during the whole event some talks related to PGP keys, system administration, translations, Debian packaging, and how to help directly to the Debian community were present. Despite she doesn't like mathematics, Valeria found very exciting the topics about PGP keys and Debian packaging, and after the months she has been using Debian, she wants to start helping in some way directly to the project, but not with publicity or graphic design work. Also, she has got knowledge in those fields through the classes at the university. Should we just settle for what we know how to do to help with something inside Debian, even if there are things we like more and we haven't got the skills to do it at the beginning? Of course not, we have to learn it. Valeria starts to explore the official Debian website in order to get more information about how she can learn about Debian packaging. And after visiting the Debian website and reading some documents, Valeria searched for some Debian courses at Linux Academy and Pluralsight, since she has taken some nice courses in these platforms to learn web design or some useful programming language for her university classes. And remembering these nice e-learning platforms, she went there to get introduced in an easier way. She didn't understand how to start trying to read the Debian documents, and also she didn't get understandable responses for her in the Debian IRC channels and the mailing list, because there are many things that Valeria need to learn, since she is not a computer girl, or she has not worked before with other free software community, or she is not into system administration or programming. She just got interested about technical skills just to help Debian, because she found this very exciting and she wants to do it. So she typed in the search engine at the beginning in Linux Academy, she wrote Debian, and she just found an LPIC 1 course for the exam 101. And then she went to Pluralsight and typed again Debian, but she didn't find something useful to start understanding Debian packaging. So in this way, she didn't find anything related to Debian development, just some contents in any case related to Debian usage in some context. Okay, so Valeria didn't give up. She continued to trying to understand. She communicated with more Debian contributors and users through IRC and some users forums, but well, she had the necessity to keep going with her main activities, like the university, to keep going out with her friends, to spend time with her family. And then time has gone, and now 7 years have passed. Valeria has finished college, works in advertising, has a boyfriend, and they will soon have a baby, and she's still trying to learn about software packaging in Debian. So the situation around Debian is that currently there are not courses about Debian development in e-learning platforms such as EDX, Coursera, Linux Academy, Pluralsight, or Udemy for someone interested about Debian as a software project, not as a system administration or how to apply the some specific knowledge with the usage of Debian. I mean, there are not courses about how to get started, for instance, with GitLab CI, about the Debian packaging context, or Debian reproducible builds, or the Debian software inside, yes, like Lintian or DebHelper. So I think these platforms are relevant because, for instance, when you are not an expert in something, like Nginx, for instance, or cloud computing with OpenStack, and then you want to start in an easy way, I have found some of these platforms useful, and you could get introduced in a very practical and pleasant way with a good instructor. So I think it's a useful resource, but we need to have in mind that also they are focused on profit, so they do not found maybe teaching about Debian development something with which they will have an economical income very high. But despite this situation, the way of learning in these platforms are very nice, because you have you have an index, you have schedules, you have virtual environments to work, and yes, you save a lot of time if you want to get started. So yes, by this reason I include this as a fact around Debian. We have DebConf talks recorded in our archive, but they are not structured courses. There are a lot of workshops and talks to start learning about something like Debian packaging, but then the years pass, and you cannot do the things exactly as the presenter explained on that moment. So now, yes, it's just for one time, and not always reusable recently. Also, we have huge text of documentation, and not always much time among responsibilities, school, work, and human relationships outside Debian. So in this way, of course, someone could learn at the Debian website, but you need to read a lot, and we appreciate the efforts of all the teams, all the people involved here, but it's heavy for someone who even has not got interested in computer stuff before. Also, not everyone has the opportunity to develop mathematics or high abstraction skills since child or a teenager to understand faster the technical and the quality topics inside Debian, reading just documentation, mailing list, and chatting through IRC, because although this is important, it's important to could have communication among the Debian members, but someone new needs first to learn how to use an IRC client, to research about the concepts inside the documentation that there are not necessarily related just to Debian, and also the mailing lists are very huge. So even people with IT profiles such as system administration, networking, software engineering, programming, or security could have the desire and the knowledge to help to Debian, but not the time to learn the forms and processes, reading extensive documentation. I have met people that they are very skillful in some field of IT. They are very smart, and they love free software, and even they want to return something to the community. But when they try to go inside, for instance, into the Debian project, they need to read how what they need, how to become a Debian maintainer, or how to become a Debian developer, the requisites, and to know important details, for instance in the Debian policy, or even if they want to participate in the Debian system administration team, they need to be first Debian members. And to be a Debian member, you need to do first something with Debian. So each person has different potential to do nice things if there are diversity of resources available to learn and to start. Strong desire to help, risk of getting frustrated during the process and throw it to the rubbish is something that sure many people trying to get into Debian has suffered, and this is not nice. So yes, for instance, if you search again, but now using EDX, and if you type Debian, you found courses related to other topics, but not anything to Debian development. And also in Coursera, we obtain another kind of courses, but not Debian related ones. So we need to be awareness that Debian is a community of volunteers, and it is fantastic the things we have achieved during these years. We have a lot of knowledge, we have a lot of kind and friendly people with the willingness to help, but not always the newcomers have these points in mind. So also we need to create and to use our own e-learning platform, since Debian is not commercial, and this is great. We need to keep going on that way, and having this in mind, this is something also deterministic for the commercial e-learning platforms, because people consume that courses as some kind of merchandise. So for instance, if today Kubernetes is something very popular and very used, and you get high pay jobs if you know how to use, administrate, and to deploy Kubernetes. But of course, you will find a lot of courses in many places. And the same with the cloud computing, with AWS, with OpenStack, and many more projects and services, even being free software, and Red Hat, OpenSUSE. You will find a lot of learning alternatives, but it's because there are money behind them, and since Debian is a community project and a self-managed free software community, obviously there are not Debian system administration certification or Debian software engineering. So yes, this should not be an obstacle to share knowledge, taking advantage of the structure of the e-learning platforms. So we need to be clever as community to include more people that want to learn or get involved in Debian in a social or in a technical way. And I think having an e-learning platform is a good option, because when you have an interaction with an instructor, or you follow a topic organized in different chapters, or with videos, exercises, this change a lot the way you learn and the possibilities you have to keep going deeper, and also to start in a faster way. I think everyone learns better in different ways. For instance, for some people, it is nice to just read the documentation, or just to follow some Debian talks on YouTube channels or Udemy. I don't know. But if we as community focus on to have good e-learning resources, we will be achieving that not just people that could learn reading or interacting through mailing list, we will be providing an alternative for them. There are Debian members and developers who currently are teachers in universities or other school levels, and there are people inside Debian who enjoys teaching even not being academic workers. So why don't we offer them an official Debian resource to share the knowledge as teaching professionals? I think we have a lot of possible benefits to make Debian a more welcoming community with official audiovisual courses given by people of the project, from Debian maintainers, of Debian developers. Even that will be very motivating to people interested in Debian to get started in the project, learning from someone that even she or he could admire, to do something for the free software. We have the possibilities to have more Debian contributors, maintainers, and developers, because in this way we will not be excluding indirectly to people that, because of time, because of high abstraction skills, lackness, or because toughness, they will have another resource available to help directly to the Debian project with something they find interesting or exciting. Also, I think there could be the possibility to become a Debian member or a Debian developer through teaching and guiding. For instance, maybe someone could achieve to help to the Debian project, being an official instructor of Debian Academy, because she or he will be doing something to improve the Debian development, preparing future Debian contributors. And also this make possible to give to education a stronger presence inside Debian. So how could we do it? I think we have some proposals to start. I think we could create a team with people interested to deal with all the necessary around the Debian Academy to make it possible, related to infrastructure, organization, communication. So yes, I think there are people interested or that maybe will find this something relevant to help to the Debian project in a way that is not necessary coding or administrating a service. Also, I propose to have a mailing list for the communication, as in other Debian themes, to use PeerTube, Debian Social to upload videos to teach specific topics about Debian. I think with the current PeerTube Debian Social instance, we could use it if we invite to Debian members and developers to join to this initiative. And also we have the option to install and maintain an EDX or a Moodle instance to provide an e-learning experience in Debian. For instance, as you know, you can install Moodle, that is an e-learning platform, free software e-learning platform, or even the software of EDX, that is free software. And in this way we could have something more adequate for e-learning purposes. And the biggest challenge is to have a full Debian e-learning platforms, an official, practical, and modern knowledge resource to anyone interested about Debian. Why not? And of course, Debian is a new Linux distribution, and its main purpose is to package and integrate free software into a wonderful operating system, but we could make it better with more contributors. And of course, this doesn't mean spoon feeding instead of being self-taught or replacing what for many is so valuable inside Debian, but having a better help to start inside Debian and to be more inclusive. Thank you very much. So please share your questions, comments, and ideas.
Welcome back, and here we are for the Q&A session with Jonathan. How are you doing, Jonathan? Oh, Jonathan, you're muted.
Yes, great. Thanks for attending the talk.
Great. So, as always, you can put some questions, comments down into the Etherpad, and then we'll read them out. We have a couple things right here. So, is Valeria a real person? Valeria, sorry.
No. She was just a fictional character and part of the narrative for the presentation.
Okay, that's cool. Well, I mean, do you kind of relate to her in a way when you first started, or?
Well, maybe in the way that I have not studied computer science or something related to physics or mathematics. I studied sociology, and then I got interested to do technical stuff with computer and free software and to Debian. Maybe in that way I could find myself identify with her.
Yeah.
Yes, I think there are people that start getting interested about our community, about Debian, and sometimes they are not coming from sciences like this, and uh, despite you could help in things that are related to translations, publicity, um, or something that is not necessarily related to complex technical stuff like um, reproducible builds or administrating some service of the Debian infrastructure. I think you could have the interest to learn, but the learning curve is long, and even for people that are software engineers, programmers, or system administrators, when they are studying, or even after when they start working, and they want to contribute to some free software project, it will be hard if you don't have enough time besides the other fields of your life, like responsibilities with in your home, at work, with your family, with your friends. Sometimes, yes, it's very complicated to work in a volunteer way in a free software community, and besides having a paid job. No? So yes, I think it was kind of inspiration, Valeria.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Let's see. There's a people writing. There's a question here. Do you have any? Do you have a set of topics in mind for? I guess a set of topics in mind to teach.
Yes, personally, yes, I have some topics in which I find that it could be very useful to have people helping, teaching to others to learn about Debian. But besides my personal opinion, I think the topics could be about anything, since the translations, for instance, Daniel Lenaro uh, has shared with us some of the difficulties um, to people that want to work on translations. So it could be a Debian course about how to start helping in some translation theme. And my personal opinions, for instance, I will find wonderful to have courses about uh, GitLab CI in the context of the Debian project. For instance, how do you need to use the GitLab CI for your package, or how you could start to packaging, how you could start to help in the Debian reproducible builds team, and how you could how, which tools do you need to know to be part of the community, to use the right communication channels like the IRC mailing list. I
Yeah.
think this is very important. So the topics includes everything, because every person is different, and for instance, maybe that is complicated about video team, for instance.
Got it.
Even
Yeah.
someone if doesn't have training about how to participate in the video team, it could be very hard to help. And what about saying administering the infrastructure or helping to the team members to do technical stuff? And then we find many more fields, not just technique, even in the social way. For instance, how to get involved in the Debian community team or in the publicity. Yes, there is a diversity of topics that will be covered.
Cool. Okay. Let's go to our next question here. Well, it's actually a comment saying that there are some videos that people can access, highvoltage.tv. You put a link here about package management. Okay, thank you. Was that High Voltage who put that? Anyways, I think it was. Anyways, another question. Jathan, what do you believe are the first steps to creating such an academy? What are hurdles to jump? Ideas of how to organize trainers, and what role would you like to have?
I think one of the first steps is to get people interested about this topic inside the Debian project, and to create a mailing list and start saying ideas, proposing how we could start. And yes, I think it's very inspirational the way in which the Debian Social team has done the orchestration of the platforms to have social networking with the Pleroma, PixelFed, and the other services. I think we could do it in a similar way, but focus in the education matter, and to organize contents in a way that you could have a resume, an index of the topic, following the example of Linux Academy or Pluralsight, because yes, you could organize the knowledge, take advantage of modern tools like these e-learning platforms, and then I think we could start there. And well, personally, I do not currently, I don't have in mind which role will I take. Maybe help in the communication and the installation of the services in the infrastructure, and maybe later creating a course. But yes, I think starting a team with the name of Debian Academy or something different by consensus, it could be the beginning.
Okay. We have another comment here. Heriberto has an entire structured Debian packaging course on debiannet.com.br with several hours of video, and has been using this for several years to train a lot of people in packaging. I think he has experienced something that could build that this could be built upon.
Yes, of course. Yes, Heriberto, he's a Debian developer from Brazil, and he's a great teacher. Even I had the opportunity to take these awesome courses in the DebConf 19. He gave a workshop, and yes, it's wonderful. But currently, I found that it's just in Portuguese, and it will be great if someone that speak English or even other languages could create this kind of content in a centralized platform like Debian Academy, because it will be a reference for everyone. For instance,
Like,
if someone wants to learn about Debian packaging, could find the Heriberto course. It's very well structured, but if you don't speak Portuguese, or if you don't know where to search, um, that content is not available for everyone if they do not have a reference.
I see. Yeah. I mean, we could have some. We like could be something like academy.debian.org, and we can have links to it on the like front page and stuff. And yeah. Another comment. Um, e-learning or a Debian Academy needs more than a series of video tutorials. First, a concept, a curriculum, uh, didactic background, target groups, dot dot dot. I think maybe something add on to there, maybe testing as well, like taking quizzes, maybe. Do you have any? Do you have a response to that comment?
Absolutely, yes, yes. The e-learning platform is beyond just video tutorials. I agree with this point, because there is a lot of stuff behind there, and like the profile, like the uh, teaching skills, and yes, this should be considered, and it will be great that these guidelines will be defined by team members of the Debian Academy team.
Okay. Here, we have to hurry up a bit because we're going to be over time. Um, but let's see here. Another question: is this platform going to be used? Is this platform going to be for end users or just for more advanced users?
I think it could be for any kind of level. Uh, the beginning, it could be for people that wants to start helping in Debian, but they do not know how to start. And of course, we could have deeper level courses with more complexity, that could be organized in different levels like basic, intermediate, and advanced. So yes, it's, it's necessary.
Um, okay, here's a comment. You could build the course content around objectives of a certification, such as LPIs, LPIC-1, or Linux Essentials. I think that's a CompTIA course. Then people following your courses could get a certificate that gives you structure and flow. That is useful for perhaps getting a job. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Let's go to the next question. You say videos are not structured. Would you consider that making a browsable index of existing material categorized by topic and language be an acceptable starting point? So, taking like existing content and putting it into a one centralized place.
yes, I think that could be a great idea to start, because categories and group of knowledge help a lot to identify what kind of content belong to some field. I think yes, it could be possible taking the current contents of our videos of DebConf or mini DebConf, and then organize in a unique place in the meanwhile.
Yeah, and someone left a comment here saying that there's a kind of that on a salsa page. You can go look into that, kind of, not exactly. And last question: many of the materials that would be created for this academy you propose would be general about Linux, and there is no shortage of those. Defining a project scope is fundamental for success. So where would you draw the line? How deep into free software use and development would you? Uh, how much? How deep into free software and development would you call adequate for Debian Academy, and how much would you leave for others? I think you kind of talked a bit about that, but
Yes, absolutely. I agree with this comment, and this should be defined by the people that will be members of the Debian Academy team. So yes, all these topics are important to cover and to get the right focus.
okay. Well, thank you, Jathan. I mean, that was a very interesting talk, and thanks to for contributing and starting this conversation. Hopefully, this will spark ideas in some people's minds, and we'll see Debian Academy.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.